What is up? How is the Legion of Comic Collectors doing tonight? Welcome to another episode of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the premier all DC comic show on YouTube. I am, of course, Tim the Comic Collector, and I'm joined tonight by my buddy Magic Lasso. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Are you going to take attendance now? I always love it when we take attendance.
I was about to say that this show gets a little short-staffed when convention season hits because you have FurCon, which Dave's gone this week.
Yeah.
You have the Harley Quinn costume contest, and I think it's Chicago.
Yeah,
Just keeping Tony busy. So
yeah, the mallets are hard to get through airport security at ORD, I hear.
Exactly. I saw the super tight security, just a door, but there's only 2 walls, so you could just walk around the door.
Exactly. Did you ever see the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember at that part where little Willy Wonka, or not Willy Wonka, but the little boy, Charlie, he's looking through the gates at the chocolate factory behind the gates, and he wishes he could go in and look around? Well, I saw someone that showed a filming location video of where they shot that at. And the funny thing is, if you walk down, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet from that area where they shot that at, you can walk completely around the wall and get to the other side.
You got to have a golden ticket for that.
Yeah, apparently you do.
What's up? If Fu is a furry, he is at FurryCon this weekend.
He is.
So just me and Lasso holding it down, and we have quite the epic story.
We do. Look at all my notes I have.
They're probably like it should have been at least 2 episodes, but we're doing it all tonight.
Yeah, because we got plans for next week.
Exactly. Next week is the Valentine's show.
Yes.
And then for those wondering, we'll get into the stories the fans voted on. If you go to Comic Foo's, what do you call it? Community tab. Yeah, there's a poll on there. So if you haven't voted, go vote. I believe Flash is winning last we checked. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe our Flash expert will come on for that show.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So we always start off with news. And I don't know about you, but I guess I have a little bit of news, but
I have just a little bit as well.
Let's start off with you. What you got?
Okay, and my news is just coming. However, I feel like spitting it out. There's no priority to it. But if you've always wondered what the Justice League would be like if they were dinosaurs, your wish is about to get answered, because the Jurassic League is going to be a limited series comic book reinventing the Justice League of America as if they were dinosaurs.
It's sort of like when you heard they're going to kill the Justice League. And it's like, man, I bet they have amazing plans if they're doing this.
Yeah.
And you hear about the Jurassic League. So maybe not. It reminds me, like, I almost wonder if there's a toy line coming, because they did like 100-page giant Primordial Age way back in the day.
Yeah.
I think that was like He-Man style toys.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of the toys, but I have the comic.
I have the comic too. It makes me wonder if that isn't a tie-in as well. I will say one thing though. It is a creative. It's something they've never done before. For better or for worse, at least it's different.
Like, if you are serious about aiming your target audience as kids, like it used to be, that would be great, because that's who it's going to appeal to.
Yeah.
But no kid anywhere, unless their dad or mom runs a comic book store, will have easy access to this book or probably ever know it exists.
Yeah, which is
if like this is going to be in Target, in Walmart, I could get behind it, but the only people who are going to have access to it, I don't think are going to want it. Like if I was buying new comics, I probably wouldn't buy it. But,
yeah, that will be one of those that it will end up appearing in a Walmart mystery pack, 4 months after it's released, and then some kid will get issue 2 having no idea that any of it exists, and might struggle to get the rest of it.
Speaking of Walmart mystery packs, I actually opened a couple of videos back some really, Walmart mystery packs are always kind of crap, but man, they were good. And I saw, I believe Southern got another, because
Jason opens those frequently, so
yeah,
I watch his videos. I watch yours as well, and you did get some good packs.
well, I knew a pulped comic was in these because I saw it on Instagram. But Jason opened one, I believe, and got a pulp comic I didn't even know about, like RWBY number 7. So like, I it almost feels like a mystery box hunt. Like you have something to hunt in them.
Yeah.
And at least the ones I've opened are like you're actually getting your money's worth. Before, like, you get 8 comics, 7 would be Batman, and you'd wind up with 2 doubles between 2 packs. So.
Well, it was nice to see in yours too that some of the creator incentive covers were included. Now, I knew on the Marvel side, that some on the Marvel side of the Walmart packs, I knew that those were showing up, and including some insane ratio hits, like 1 in 1,000 covers were even showing up in there. But I didn't know on the DC side if they were, if they weren't. I also sent an AOK that included a Walmart pack to White Tiger, Cool, Calm, Collected, which he opened up this past week. And he got some good books in his DC Walmart pack too. One of the books he got was a $9 book when that was the cover price of it. So right there, that's a score.
Wow.
It was a Batman book though.
Yeah, I was just thinking in my head there was a few. Well, I guess if you take away all the anniversary stuff, there ain't necessarily too many, but with that in, there's a whole bunch of like $10 price tag books.
Yeah.
So hopefully they continue that trend, because I'd much rather pay $2.25 a comic with a chance of getting a pulp book than $5-6 new.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are some exciting packs in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the only bit of news I had was just something I noticed here in St. Louis. There's these stores that they're basically like resale stores that'll have video games, movies, books, and they have comics, and these stores carry new comics. And I just noticed that none of them in the St. Louis area, I don't know if it's countrywide or not, but Slackers and Vintage Stock here quit carrying new DC comics, which is a shame. So, and I know at least with Vintage Stock, it's been like that for a minute. Like,
did that happen when DC split with Diamond?
No, they got some after.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because like Vintage Stock, I found Future State. What was it, like a month, maybe even 2 months early? I found some of the Future State books there. So that's all the news I have. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, one other thing that I wanted to add is Joelle Jones is getting a little bit of backlash from some fans because an image has come out from the upcoming Trial of the Amazons miniseries. And the image depicts Donna Troy specifically is what the backlash is coming for. And fans have gone as far to say that image was directly copied from a different artist in an X-Men image. And someone put the 2 images together, and they do look remarkably similar. I mean, it's almost eerie how similar they look. So there's a little bit of backlash and a little bit of...
It's not the first time that's happened with DC.
No, it isn't.
During the Deceased, one of the guys stole the... I forget, it was a Joker cover that was stolen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. So...
Yeah,
so interesting. You can go online and search, and there's a couple articles that have both images side by side.
I know something I wanted to ask you and forgot about. I saw an ad. It might have been in one of these new comics. I got out of the Walmart packs. They did a Batman book, I think at the end of last year, that had individual like short stories from artists and creators from around the world.
Yeah, Batman around the world.
I saw there's a Wonder Woman one that's like the same thing, only it's about true life stories of Wonder Women, I should say. Did you get that book?
I didn't, because I think she's just kind of on the cover, but in the interior she isn't in there to my knowledge. So that's why I didn't pick it up.
it seems like a cool idea,
Hmm.
but then sort of like you said, like if it ain't a Batman or a Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
the Batman ones were actually Batman in the
Yeah.
story. Yeah, just maybe some different interpretations of him based on whoever in the world was writing it. But what's
Mhm.
kind of cool about that Wonder Woman one, a lot of people don't know, back in the Golden Age, they used to have a one page in each Golden Age Wonder Woman issue called Wonder Women of History. And they kind of did a history lesson of a real life woman and what she
Huh.
accomplished to make her so notable. And a lot of those have never been reprinted in any way, shape, or form. So that's kind of cool. To me, it's kind of honoring that Golden Age just a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I think that's gonna transition us to our story. We got a doozy tonight.
You.
Definitely gonna be interesting with just the two of us to try and keep it in a time. Yeah, it is. It is a cool idea. I love books like that have multiple stories. Like I
Yeah.
wish they would DC would just do a comic like Action that has like 5 different stories in it every month. But
They've done a little bit of that, like with the black and whites and the black and golds and
yeah,
stuff, with multiple stories in them. But specifically with that Batman during Free Comic Book Day, there was a slimmed down version of that that didn't give you all the complete stories, but gave you a couple of the stories. If your comic shop has any of those versions left for free, that's a way to check it out. That's how I checked it out, and I was really impressed with how good it was.
I was a fan. I even did a video on it on Batman Black and White, the history, because that was sort of what started all of this. And it actually started as a backup in Gotham Knights. Like at the end, you would get like a little 8 page black and white story, and
Gotcha.
then it got a mini. Well, like the one
Mm-hmm.
that just ended was the third one, and then when they started the Superman one, the Wonder Woman one, Harley had an original graphic novel one,
Yep.
and I think even Marvel jumped on the bandwagon of that and adding red
Mm-hmm.
to the black and white.
Yep.
So I like it because especially maybe when you get kids, you don't have the attention span you used to. I could sit down and read 1 or 2 stories, and if you get interrupted, no big deal. We're like trying to read JLA Avengers. I got through 3, and I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do any more in one sitting.
Yeah, with me, I'm a little bit different with it because I kind of found, at least with the Wonder Woman series, if the story was really good, I wanted more of it. And if the story was bad, I thought it could have been fixed if they would have had more pages. So, but it is nice to have some variety.
Uh, Sorry, don't mind me. I'm trying to share.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So once I click over to the story, I won't be able to see you or the chat.
Okay.
This is my first time being the guy that's sharing the uh, pages for you to look at. So tonight we're doing JLA Avengers. Quite the story. And I've also never did my review looking at the screen, so I'll do my best. So can you see that
Yep.
McPhee PC may be at risk?
Yes.
All right.
That will probably pop back up continuously off and on, but we'll deal with it.
So this is the first cover. And for anyone wondering, this is actually the front and the back. So the right side is the front of the cover, and then the left side is the back. They have a lot of, I think all the covers are wraparound in this series,
Yeah, I
which is
think so.
pretty cool. All right. We're off to a flying start here.
Keep going down. Oh, you need to click all the pages, not just one page.
Where do I click that at?
You know where that pop-up
Oh,
was?
I see it. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. For those that could tell, I don't read anything online. See here. All right. That might do that every time we switch.
Yeah, it probably will. There you go. Now you're cooking.
All right. So it starts off. I'm not familiar with this world. I assume it's a world in the Marvel universe. You're seeing this couple wake up, and I guess this guy's about to be king. But the important part is this like giant being that is like piercing them seems to be speaking right into their head, is in the sky, and it says, "What is it? What is the secret? The truth? Tell me." And in doing that, he winds up this eyes in the sky like destroy this world, and that immediately switches to Cord. Sorry, guys, and they're under attack from the crime syndicate, who we've been seeing a lot on the show lately.
Yep.
The same thing happens. These eyes show up, and this blackness just lashes out, destroys Cord. And I have a question for you, Lasso. We see this guy and a girl version, and
Hmm.
the next issue. Are these supposed to like represent the Marvel and DC universe?
Yes, one represents the Marvel and one represents the DC.
Okay, so we see like the version of this being, and it starts off. We see a guy. I also don't know. It's like a super ancient being that just watches the universe. You know, he looks for secrets. They point out that he likes to gamble, and he's suddenly aware of these eyes coming into this universe, and it somewhat injures him. But he starts talking to this intruder, and actually kind of forces this intruder to stop, and the intruder takes a physical form we see here, and it's actually Corona. And that is, for those that don't know, they do a brief backstory of him a little later. He's a guardian that was banished for trying to figure out the secrets of how our universe started. From there, we jump and we see the Justice League is fighting this giant monster. And Lasso, were you aware of who this person was?
Yes, I believe so. Um, I'm looking at it in really tiny form right now, so it's hard for me to pinpoint.
He to me, he looks like a robot version of Chemo.
Uh-huh.
So for those watching, I am not up to date on all the little niches of the Marvel universe. I just know the main people. And they're fighting this guy, not getting nowhere, and Batman is planning. And he understands his powers coming from his like his rod. This like power rod he has. Terminus is his name. So he basically uses the Justice League to distract him, and Terminus thinks they're trying to steal his staff. Okay, staff. But actually, you see everybody's attacking him in turn. Green Lantern's actually just funneling the power back at him. You know, Kyle Rayner. I wish it's probably why Dave really didn't show up, is because Kyle's such a hero in this mini. So Kyle manages to take him down, and that's when Dave's favorite character, Hal Jordan, who is currently the Spectre, shows up and basically says, "This guy isn't from our universe. He ain't supposed to be here." Takes off with him. We switch to the Marvel universe, which is pretty cool because I do know this villain. We see Starro the Conqueror is attacking New York. We see some of the Avengers, some I don't really know, like this guy in the middle right, sort of with Starro in the green and red. I don't know who that is. He's already been infected by Starro, so they're trying to fight him off. I know at some point She-Hulk and Quicksilver even get infected, and basically, I also thought it was weird they managed, as you see here, to get the Starro off of Quicksilver without killing him. But basically, WandaVision comes up with a plan in which they purposely put a Starro on her because she senses that Starro is a being of sorry, I'm totally zoning here. It's a being of like control, order. So she funnels all of her chaos magic up at him, basically driving him crazy. And she informs the Avengers that the brief touch she had of his mind, she could tell that Starro isn't from here and, doesn't know what's going on. So we're seeing crossover between Marvel and DC, which is pretty much what we start getting now. Uh, I don't know who this guy is either, but he's like a space guy, and he's sensing all kinds of havoc across space. Lobo's just attacking the Shi'ar Empire. I've already passed up. These people on the right are being attacked by Kuns. We go down a little bit farther, and we're actually seeing the Flash is using his ability to phase between dimensions to try to phase to where Terminus came from, which of course is the Marvel Universe. And he gets there and immediately sees a mutant being chased by people. So I guess that's sort of like a real thing in the comics, like in the old original X-Men movies. I guess this kid just transformed recently, and Flash tries to step in, and that's when he realizes he doesn't have a connection to the Speed Force here. But luckily, I believe it's real quick, they show when he loses full contact with the Speed Force, he goes back to his original phasing and just transports right back to his home universe. But we're seeing the DC universe is going through the same thing. We see, I'm not sure what's on the right. Is that like aliens from the movie Alien attacking Mongol?
I don't know. It looks like that.
Yeah. And then we see Krolls or Skulls. I'm not. I don't mean to be offensive to the Marvel people.
They're Skrulls.
I really don't know. They're attacking Hawk World.
Mm-hmm.
If it hasn't been in a movie, I don't know too much about it in Marvel. There's the Flash. He got back. That's when an alert goes off, and I do know of this guy. I don't know much about him. He's called the Watcher. I think the only reason I know who he is because of that what if in the skirt that was getting passed around between the mystery men.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have heard of him. But he's just here to watch. Martian Manhunter can't contact his mind. And then this guy, who I assume is from Marvel, or maybe just created for the story, the guy that came in contact with Corona shows up and basically starts giving them an explanation. It's not a complete explanation, but basically you need to gather these objects. We're going to see the same thing happen in a moment in the Marvel Universe, where these two teams get told you have to gather these objects of your universe, and there's going to be other people trying to find them, and if they get it, your universe is going to be destroyed. And we see a lot of objects even I would recognize, like the Infinity Stones up here. We see the Eternity Book, the Medusa Mask, the Orb of Ra, Spear of Destiny, and of course Kyle Rayner's Power Battery. When we get to the Marvel version of events, so here's the Marvel version. Oh, at first we see, before we get to that, the Justice League again go to the Marvel Earth. And I thought it was wild. I don't know if you read these first issues, if you had time, Ryan.
I did.
But as you can see here, all throughout this series, they really kind of take shots at the Marvel Universe. Like, the heroes are like, why is the world in such chaos? We see the team split off and want to intercept what they see. So Green Lantern wants to step in on Dr. Doom, and Batman's like, no. Looks like a nuclear bomb has went off, and Batman's like, you need to keep moving, Poison Ivy. Superman sees this monster, which is, of course, the Hulk, is just running rampant. Batman's like, keep going. And then Batman sees the Punisher taking out drug dealers and doesn't follow his own rules and goes and takes that guy out. But we could even see Superman here. He's like, there's heroes here. How come they allow this world to be like this? So he's already sort of starting to distrust these Marvel heroes. And that's when they encounter these giant monsters when they're trying to get the first object. And basically the plan is for the League to distract them fighting while Batman goes and gets the object. And they're pointing out how well the Justice League fights. And I even agree, back in the day when Justice League was JLA, they really did a great job explaining, like in the moment of fights, the strategy and how well their powers worked with one another. One of the best written team books in my advantage way back then. So Batman manages to get this first object. It's a Marvel object, and I forget the name. And John senses it's powerful. It could destroy a whole universe. And that's when the Avengers show up and try to take it. Hawkeye shoots it with an arrow, and they think they have it, but at super speed, Wonder Woman grabs it as they're being phased. And they're back in their own time, or their own city, I should say. And they have the first object. And you see the Avengers have a weapon that Iron Man's holding that could force the DC heroes to phase. And that's when they encounter Metron. And Metron basically gives the same rundown. So we get the name of these other things: the Soul Gems, the Wand of Watum, the Casket of Ancient Winters, Evil Eye, the Cosmic Cube, and Hawkeye doesn't tell us the name of this object. And, they get the same rundown. So they jump across to the DC universe and encounter, I'm not even sure. There's some DC villains I don't know about. Never seen these people. They immediately take them out. And they're sort of put off by how everyone seems to adore heroes here. People are asking them for autographs and how shiny and futuristic the buildings look. And they start seeing all, how heroes are loved in the DC universe. There's even a Flash museum, which makes Quicksilver jealous. I'm like I said, I'm not an expert on Marvel, but I guess the Marvel universe, nobody likes anybody. And that's when they encounter the Justice League. Of course, there's misunderstandings. DC thinks they're a bunch of schmoes that can't run a world, and the Marvel people think they may be fascists that have brainwashed everyone to be loved so much. And this issue ends with Thor taking the initiative and smacking Superman with the hammer into a building.
That's quite the image.
Yeah. And that's where we see this blue guy and Metron.
That's the Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster. Mm-hmm. They're being watched by the Atom. So basically they have a bet going. I may be early in explaining this, keeping score of who gets each object. So at right now, DC is ahead 1-0.
Because whoever fails, their universe is going to perish.
Exactly. And this might be jumping ahead. They don't really indicate it here, but I believe the guy has the Grandmaster has a bet with Corona. All right. Let's get to issue 2. All pages. Let me quick over and just check the chat. So like I said, I can't see while I'm doing that. See who else jumped in real quick.
Copy 801 is with us. Jonathan Soko.
Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you. He's been commenting on all my videos lately. I appreciate it.
Glitter Lord is here.
Copy 801. What's up? I saw Warlord was here earlier. Yeah, this is I'm really surprised how hard it is to get these, and even trades. Like normally you can't afford an issue, go buy the trade for $10. Mm-hmm. Well, Marvel and DC can't come to terms on licensing, so even the trades are worth hundreds of dollars of this. I lucked out probably 15 years ago and got them at a LCS on Free Comic Book Day, and they were in the 25-cent bins. So I paid a buck for this series.
That's probably one of the best dollars spent.
Yeah. I love this cover. I just think it's so well done. Just look at this Perez art.
Yeah.
And even the characters, like, their personalities come through. I mean, as far as DC, like, look at Plastic Man and Black Canary and This Batman is fantastically drawn with Captain America. But it's Perez, so of course.
Yeah, he does not scamp.
Kurt Busiek is the writer, for those wondering. So here we see, like I said, we're trying to save time tonight, so we're not going to explain every detail. We see them talking, and this is where we get, because the whole basis is Grandmaster has a bet with Corona that DC is going to win, and if they do, he needs to leave his universe alone, which would, of course, destroy the Marvel Universe. And Corona's involved in that. Not Corona. Metron's involved with that. And we get the brief history of Corona. He was a Guardian before they were the Guardians that literally wanted to find out how the universe was created, which is what he's doing now. He's learning everything about a universe and in the process destroying it. And he went back to see the Big Bang, the hand of God creating everything. And as punishment, because they're not allowed to do that, they basically made him a disembodied like energy being that can no longer touch anything but is still immortal, so he has to wander the universe in that state, which is basically what we saw at the beginning of the book. He was in that state and became physical to talk to the Grand Master.
Yep.
So we don't need to waste time looking at all their talking. Here's the other universe. So now we've seen DC and Marvel in universe form, and we see the fight breaking out. I think Aquaman was mismatched in a lot of his fights throughout this book. He has Iron Man.
Yeah.
We have Quicksilver and Plastic Man. Superman and Martian Manhunter. Oh, they're both fighting Thor. Wow, that's a bad matchup for Thor. Flash and Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and I can't quite see who she's fighting. Wonder Woman and Captain America. Oh, maybe Green Lantern's fighting Scarlet Witch. All right. And he thinks he's going to get Wally. Is this where that happens? Did I pass it up? Yeah, okay. He thinks he's going to get Wally with a boomerang arrow, as we can see there. And Wally's like, I have a boomerang guy. Takes out Hawkeye. And I think I got confused last week in our review. This is where Batman and Captain America fight and then decide to team up. So you get a pretty cool fight, and they just decide, hey, we need to figure out what's really going on, and they head off together. Something weird happens to Scarlet Witch, and she basically instantly transports everyone away, and the Justice League just now notices that the Atom's gone, but that Batman's gone too, and Captain America. Oh, I'm sorry. She sent a shockwave, knocked everybody back, then transported everybody away. Superman can't find them. So basically they decide, hey, let's start gathering these objects, and we start seeing the real competition. Martian Manhunter reaches out to all the reserves and retired members to protect these objects at all cost. And they head off to the Marvel Universe to get them, and Kyle's like, hey, my battery's one of those. Will you go get that, Wally? And of course, we see the Avengers. Their reserves are aware of what's going on as well. So everybody splits off into teams. We got Superman, GL, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Plastic Man, and the Avengers. Other Avengers are planning for it. Wally runs into Kyle's apartment, and Iron Man takes him out. So they have the Green Lantern battery. And that's when we find out when they actually take these items, they dissolve. And here we are keeping score, 1-1. Here we are taking more shots at the Marvel Universe that Superman's disgusted. That's how they treat their heroes, all the graffiti on the statues. And that's when, I guess this is Miss Marvel and Wonder Man. Is that who that purple guy is?
I believe so.
I didn't know he was a being of energy. They're getting ready to fight. We see Quicksilver and Wanda in the Flash Museum. Aquaman and Wonder Woman have went to, I guess that's Asgard. and some fights break out. So we have Hercules and She-Hulk, which I just think is a bad matchup. She-Hulk versus Aquaman. Wonder Woman versus Hercules is probably more, she's always fighting those guy types.
Well, what I loved about the Wonder Woman Hercules, she finds out he's Hercules and he's like the despoiler of Hippolyta.
Yeah, the spoiler.
And he's like, I would not use those words myself, but I did have the honor of, and by that time she's already punched him.
And we see in the Flash Museum some of the reserve leaguers like Hawkman, Black Canary, and weirdly enough, Blue Beetle are going after Quicksilver and Wanda. Green Lantern's having a tough time with Wonder Man. Aquaman dives in the water and gets the book. And Lantern does get the Orb of Ra because Superman steps in and knocks Wonder Man away. But at the Flash Museum, Wanda and Quicksilver do get what's it called here? The Wand of Watube. So it's 3-2 DC. And then we see Captain America, Batman in the Batcave speaking with Oracle, gaining information. And the Grand Master had mentioned he knows somebody who knows the beginning of the universe, and that is Galactus. So we see Galactus in the middle of a lava bath. And Metron's looking at him. And basically, Captain America had called ahead and had the Fantastic Four make him a time travel scooter. So Batman and Captain America head off on their plan. And now we see more Avengers. It's going to be a fight here in the snow. We see Red Tornado versus Thor and Vision. They get a shock reaching into him that he's actually an elemental. Firestorm comes in and gets the, I don't know what these are called, that thing from Marvel. We see Black Panther. Is that Giant Man versus Martian Manhunter?
Yellow Jacket and Wasp.
Yellow Jacket and Wasp.
Yep.
Versus Martian Manhunter and Plastic Man. And while they're duking it out, Black Panther gets the mass Psycho Pirate uses. And then there's a fight. We see Steel versus Vision. Wanda's like turning white. They get an artifact, but Flash has a device that allows them to run in their universe. So he immediately steals it. On the moon, we see Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, I think it's Quasar. Iron Man's there, and it looks like Marvel gets the spear. So it's 5-5. And that's when Captain America and Batman enter the, would you say it was the Watcher? Or not the Watcher. The blue guys.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, his hideout. And there they encounter the Atom. And basically, he accidentally plays Superman taking another shot at the Marvel Universe. And he's like, oh, I didn't mean to play that. And then basically plays the video of the Grandmaster and Krona talking, so Batman and Captain America knows what's up. So we're heading towards two of the final fights to decide who's going to win. And we see some Avengers and JLAers on Apocalypse, and he has Thanos' glove. And basically, as soon as he determines it ain't going to work in his universe, he doesn't care, tosses it away, but tries to kill whoever's going to grab it with Omega beams. And Flash grabs it and outruns the Omega beams. So at most now we're looking at Marvel could tie it. And we get ready for the final fight, and they bring all of the contestants together to try and get the last one. We see Hawkeye try to grab it. Green Arrow shoots his arrow. Thor and Superman are going toe to toe. I think that's, you said Yellow Jacket takes out Captain Adams. Zatanna's there. Superman and Thor with Vision and Martian Manhunter. Miss Marvel and Green Lantern. Wonder Man versus Wonder Woman. Blue Beetle versus Black Panther. That's a terrible matchup for him.
Mm-hmm.
Superman finally takes out Thor with heat vision and actually catches Thor's hammer. And Thor can't believe that. He knocks Thor out, which shocks everybody. He immediately gets teamed up on by the rest of the Avengers. And in the middle of that, Aquaman shows up, thrashes a bunch of them with a sea monster. And that's when Kyle goes to grab the last artifact. You see some more fights. He grabs it. Almost has it when Miss Marvel jumps in. Flash grabs it. Quicksilver grabs it from him. And then it looks like it's going to be a tie. And that's when Captain Marvel's shield knocks it away from Quicksilver.
Captain
to
America.
Batman. Securing the win for DC. And there's the Grandmaster telling Corona he needs to leave because he lost the bet. And Corona basically takes out the Grandmaster. And he's like, who is it? Who knows everything? Tell me. And Galactus shows up. Galactus fights Corona. And looks like he loses. And that's basically when something weird happens. And I'm so grateful I don't have to review the next issue. Things get a little crazy from here on out.
It does get a little bit crazy. So I'll handle our last half. Issue number 3 is called Strange Adventures. And I'll wait for Tim to pull up the issue.
I want to check the chat real quick.
Yeah.
We got Super Russ. What's up, buddy? I saw you over at Metarock. I'm not seeing it pop up. Marvel hardcore fans were so angry Superman could pick up the hammer. They've written whole dissertations of why he's not worthy. So in the 2 crossovers we've done these last 2 weeks, we've seen Wonder Woman and Superman able to pick up the hammer.
Yep.
All right, so here we go to issue 3.
Yeah, this cover's got everybody.
Opinion, the absolute, maybe, I love cover 4, don't get me wrong, but this is probably the best cover in the series.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is there. So
everyone.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So as we're starting out with each issue, we have a prologue. And in this prologue, we're in the DC universe where the JLA are watching Dr. Doom joining the Source Wall. Hawkeye happens to be a member of this Justice League. How odd is that? And he's flirting with Black Canary, which of course is making Green Arrow jealous. Then the first dimensional glitch occurs and Hawkeye vanishes. But the team doesn't notice this change. But Flash suggests that they return to the JLA tower and inform their friends in the other universe about Dr. Doom being part of this wall now. And that ends our prologue. So as the story begins, we're now in the Marvel universe, and the Avengers have just won a battle with Brainiac. And they're talking about the outcome, and Captain America feels like something isn't right. And at that moment, Wasp announces that the JLA is visiting their reality. So the 2 teams greet each other and head to Avengers Mansion. Both Superman and Captain America individually get the impression something just isn't right here.
And isn't Wanda married to Red Tornado instead? Or did I misread that?
I don't remember that. So suddenly we're shifting scenes here, as you see, like we have Captain America there, and all of a sudden it kind of fades out. And as we shift scenes, we're in the JLA satellite where the 2 teams are having a party. It's got a Hawaiian luau theme. Everyone's having fun. Captain America and Superman continue to have these misgivings about the whole situation. Now, from this point out, watch how the costumes and the lineups change for the remainder of this entire story. because it's going to be a lot to keep up with. So our scene shifts back to Avengers Mansion, where Superman confides to Martian Manhunter that he feels like the entire situation is strange. And at that moment, Captain America explodes that something is deeply wrong. Wasp is trying to calm him down. She's relating previous team-ups between the JLA and the Avengers. And we start seeing this montage of supposed team-ups, but they never actually took place. Like we see the two teams battling Amazo and Ultron 4. We see them battling the Grim Reaper and the Key. We see him battling Kang and the Lord of Time. But Captain America refuses to listen to this, and he's accusing Superman of the reality warping. And Superman snaps back that it's Cap's fault, and both of them rush forward, getting ready to attack each other. Then suddenly, Vision and Aquaman find themselves in snowy Metropolis. And you're kind of going, what the heck? So this place looked like it's been destroyed. We see the Daily Planet building topper is toppled over and partially destroyed. Aquaman notices that he still has a hand, and that feels off to him. And then they're both attacked by a group of DC villains. So this fight ensues, and they're rescued by Captain America, Hal Jordan, Iron Man, Thor, and Wonder Woman. And defeating this group of villains, Wonder Woman uses her lasso of truth on Sonar, and he mumbles something about his master being trapped but trying to escape. Now we cut back to the Marvel Universe, New York City, with a group of heroes including Superman, Batman, Goliath, Wasp. They're rescuing citizens from major disasters. Some of the citizens, however, are from the DC universe. There's a cab driver who complains that no one there knows of his home country of Quark. And then it starts snowing, and these citizens start disappearing before the heroes' eyes as Martian Manhunter tries to mind link with them. So Flash and Scarlet Witch appear to Metropolis. Batman and Superman are still in New York, but John has vanished. In the meantime, Captain America, Aquaman, and the others are trying to clear the snow, while Vision is searching the area when John Jones appears to heroes of both universes. So he instructs everyone in both universes to follow him and explains the realities are interacting. The snow and the storms are causing people to switch worlds and places randomly appearing and disappearing. So Superman and Iron Man fly into space and discover both Earths being forcibly merged together by Corona. Scarlet Witch and Green Lantern are attacking Corona with chaos magic and willpower, and tap into the minds of all of the heroes using their willpower to disrupt the rift and end up returning to their own worlds. So once the JLA realizes, they're separated from the Avengers, they head back to the Avengers world, and they're in Avengers Mansion when they're greeted by the Phantom Stranger. Both teams are taken to a dying Grandmaster by the Phantom Stranger, who tells them that Corona is imprisoned between both realities and will destroy both to escape. In his dying act, Grandmaster shows the teams their true past, and they start showing all these iconic moments in DC and Marvel history, such as Superman's death at the hands of Doomsday, Ant-Man's domestic abuse of Wasp, Hal Jordan going insane and murdering the entire Green Lantern Corps, Iron Man's alcoholism, and the tragedy of Vision and Scarlet Witch's children. So Hal, who you got to keep in mind at this time has the most to lose out of everyone, states that they have to return reality back to the way it was, for good or ill, and both teams vowed to defeat Corona together. And that's how we wrap up the issue.
I just want to point out that the Justice League won.
We have any chat comments? Anything new?
Let's check that out. We got copy. Post-crisis Superman. I agree. I mean, he has the pure heart or what have you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone in the chat read this? If so, let us know what you think. So I will switch back and look at the chats when we get to this last one.
So we're going to wrap this bad boy up, but we got a lot to talk about in issue number 4, which is titled The Brave and the Bold. Look at that cover.
Yeah, I love the single cover. How cool is it?
That to me,
Superman.
That's like a poster.
Yeah, love this cover. It's my favorite cover, but I don't think it's the best. Issue 3 is the best.
Yeah, I think issue 3 is pretty good. So let's start talking about what happens in the prologue for this issue. So Corona explains the origins of Galactus to Metaron. I keep wanting to say Metarog to Metaron and points out the difference because Metarog could educate him. So, okay, they're explaining the origins of Galactus to Metaron and points out the differences in the creation of the JLA and the Avengers universes. He insists that there's a guiding hand to creation, but Metaron is curious as to what he will do now. So Corona tells him that he'll learn the truth using the power items that the Grand Master had tried to use against him and merge the two Earths and force their spirits out so he will at least have the knowledge he craves. So Metaron asks him about the strain that he's putting on the two universes, and Corona replies that if they die, they die. All that matters to Corona at the end is the ending of his long quest, and that ends our prologue and begins our story. So the two Earths continue to deteriorate as the heroes of two worlds in different time periods do their best to assist the authorities. We're getting cameos now from Nova, the Defenders, the Outsiders, and the Teen Titans, among others. In the lunar headquarters of the Justice League, the Vision.
Hey, the All-Star Squadron.
Yeah.
Or Infinity Inc., I mean.
So now we're up here at the lunar headquarters of the Justice League, and Vision is having none of this. He's knocking back the members of the JLA and the Avengers, telling them that the whole situation is madness and that he is going home to his family. Scarlet Witch is finally able to calm him down, and she explains that the reality that they know is not how it should be, and that if they can't preserve how things are, which could change from moment to moment, they should try to restore how things should be. So afterwards, Green Lantern briefs both teams on Corona and his capabilities. Hank Pym suggests that they need to find a way to get past Corona's defenses. Iron Man tells them that he and Barry Allen, who's now the Flash, have been working on that, but they're going to need Green Lantern, the Vision, and the Atom to help. Superman suggests that Captain America should act as their commander, and Batman agrees. So after the Martian Manhunter confirms that the members of the JLA will follow his orders without question, Captain America does agree to this, and the two teams get to work. So they're building the ship, and it's coming together nicely and quickly. Both teams are working together. Afterwards, several of the heroes talk about how they feel about the fact that they're fighting for a reality where their lives turn out very different. Superman then apologizes to Captain America for his behavior. Cap tells him not to worry about it, and the two heroes discuss how Superman fears that the JLA does too much, denying humanity freedom and choice, and how Cap fears that as hard as the Avengers fight in the end, that it's not enough. Cap informs Superman that their argument, which is not why he asked for him to be the leader. In Captain America's opinion, Superman is powerful, but not powerful enough to face Corona and will need an edge. So he hands Superman his shield, which Superman takes, and adds that he will do his best to wield it. Soon, using Thor's hammer and Flash's cosmic treadmill as power sources with a final push from the Scarlet Witch, the heroes pass over to Corona's realm and discover the villain has set up a base inside the remnants of Galactus, which I thought was brilliant. Corona watches, and once the heroes are within range, he sends his minions, which are made up of parademons from Apocalypse, AIM soldiers, Hydra agents, and followers of the JLA villain Cobra after the heroes. So the parademons are mocking the human soldiers and say they'll make short work of these heroes, but the Avengers and JLA arrive with a battle cry of Avengers Assemble. Captain America gives his orders through a telepathic link courtesy of the Martian Manhunter, with everyone following his orders except, of course, Batman, who takes off on his own. Suddenly, the heroes experience a time shift, and different heroes from both teams' past rosters, including Green Arrow and Hawkeye, start taking on the Royal Flush Gang, who are under Corona's control. From his command center, Metaron commends Corona's efficiencies while pointing out that his control over the villains that he's bringing in is draining him further. Corona tells him that none of this matters because he has located that universal avatar, but he must have his answers soon before they're destroyed. He asked Metron to help him, but Metron refuses. Corona is incensed, telling him that he can't fight down now because they both are truth seekers. Metron cryptically asks what Corona truly seeks and tells him that he shall be watching and curious to know what the outcome will be. Meanwhile, another time shift has occurred as Batman takes on Batroc the Leaper. More villains appear as the heroes continue to change from one era to another. Flash and Hawkeye are seamlessly killed, causing Hal to completely lose it as he changes from Green Lantern to Parallax, and finally to the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern as the Atom sits on his shoulders and goes through the changes of his own. The battle rages on as the heroes redouble their efforts. More time shifts occur, with Captain America losing the telepathic link after the Martian Manhunter changes to Bloodwind and disappears. As a team of assassins take on Batman, the Justice League enemy Prometheus takes on Captain America. Meanwhile, Corona finally realizes what Metron was talking about. He believes that now that the truth is within his grasp, it's not enough. He believes that the heroes, entire worlds, and whole universes denied him the right, and for that they're going to pay. More heroes and villains appear and more fighting ensues. The Scarlet Witch pops up just in time to see Eternity, the avatar for her universe, in an embrace with Kismet, the avatar from the JLA universe. Corona attempts to imprison them as the Scarlet Witch fights back without much success. As Green Lantern and Iron Man fight side by side, Aquaman helps out a group of heroes, including Namor, who are under attack from the Avengers universe version of Atlantis. Elsewhere, Wonder Woman shouts for the heroes of both teams to press on and leave the villains to her. She-Hulk and Wonder Woman, who is now morphed into Hippolyta as Wonder Woman, arrive to give a hand as the Radioactive Man and Solar attack Superman with kryptonite and red solar energy, respectively. Though damaged, the Vision assists Superman by showering him with yellow solar energy. So newly energized Superman tells the villains that they will use the chance that the Flash and Hawkeye gave them to take another crack at their master. Superman makes short work of the villains and arrives at the final doorway, which he cannot break, so Thor throws him his enchanted hammer. Superman catches it and is filled with more power than he's ever felt before, and uses it in Captain America's shield to break through the last of Corona's defenses. Once there, the heroes are thrown back by Corona, who finally reveals himself. He attacks the heroes before turning his attention to Eternity and Kismet. Suddenly, he senses a shift in power as Flash and Hawkeye reveal that they had faked their deaths to throw Corona off. While Flash distracts him, Hawkeye fires a TNT arrow into the source of Corona's power, which destroys it. Corona's power and plan unravel, and the Justice League and the Avengers return to the original roster both started this crisis with. The proper reality begins to reassert itself as the heroes watch as the Hal Jordan Spectre separates the two Earths. As reality continues to return to normal, Galactus begins to reform, causing both teams to kind of decide it's time to get the heck out of there and return home. Superman tries to hand Thor his hammer, but finds that he can no longer lift it. So he's confused by this, and he asks Thor why. The Thunder God replies that the enchantment put on the hammer by Thor's father Odin makes it almost impossible for others to lift except under special circumstances. Thor adds when Superman possessed it, the hammer was in good hands. While Flash and Quicksilver spin around their respective teams to begin their journeys home, Superman and Captain America salute one another, certain that while they may do too much or not enough, they both keep trying. The Scarlet Witch adds that while they have come together, worked out their differences, and overcome their challenges, they're still forced to return to incompatible worlds. She realizes, though, that it all must be that way, and as Kismet and Eternity part, the story comes to an end. From the void, Metron watches as all of the power sources are returned to their homes, leaving a cosmic egg at the heart of which is Corona's essence. One day, Metron muses, it may hatch a new universe, and Corona will have all of the answers that he seeks. The not-quite-dead Grandmaster agrees. So Metron asks him what it was like to be dead, and Grandmaster replies that it wasn't an experience he wanted to repeat. He adds that he had never played a game where all sides won. Metron is skeptical at first, but finally agrees, adding that he will watch the egg carefully. He also tells the Grandmaster that they should play another game sometime, and as the egg begins to glow, Grandmaster concurs, and the two return to their homes. Story over.
All right.
So as you could tell, I made a lot of notes on that, because when you're reading a story like this, and if I was trying to go through that while I was just looking at it, I'm going to leave out too many important details. So
there's a ton
it's just
of cool,
a lot to capture.
I could just tell from the DC side, there's tons of cool little Easter eggs, like when the people are transforming back and forth, and it's quite a read for one sitting. But if you have the ability to go get this series, you should.
Yeah, I mean, George Perez never ever skimps on his art, and this is no exception either.
Yeah.
Once again,
And the story I absolutely hate with the passion dream sequence type stories.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where you're going here and all of a sudden you're over there and people are transforming. But in this instance, it's perfect because then you get to put all those Easter eggs and everything into it.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes, you know, when I was reading this, and I have to think too that there's a difference between reading it and reading it for a review. There's definitely two distinct different things.
I was just going to say, let's give our reviews.
When you're reading it as a review and you see like the Defenders and the Outsiders showing up, and I start thinking, why do we have them? You can't cram 8 pounds into a 5-pound bag. But then I start thinking on the other side, as a fan, these are the Easter eggs. And people would be wondering, well, what's my favorite character doing? You know, and maybe if Valkyrie's your favorite character, at least you get to see her for 2 panels.
Even Spider-Man was in there and the Hulk, and they're not really.
Yeah, and I mean, there really wasn't that much Fantastic Four in there, which both last week's story and this week's story, I mean, Reed Richards has got the mind for something like this, you know? But then I have to think too, on this side, remember, this story took over 20 years to happen, and it hasn't happened since. So
the last crossover.
So why shouldn't those characters be at least someplace in it too?
Yeah, like even seeing a glimpse of the Titans. Because, I mean, the story isn't called Marvel versus DC. You could almost excuse it. This is JLA Avengers. So you could say, well, if they haven't been a Justice League or an Avenger, they shouldn't be in it. But there's nothing wrong with putting them in there. They didn't play huge roles. It's cool to see Spider-Man on the cover of a newspaper with Clark Kent. You know, it's just fun. And like I said, I don't like that kind of story, but it works here.
I think that this story, I mean, overall, though, considering that you have to explain a reason why these two universes have come together and will separate at the end without damaging either one, you know, that they did overall a good job on this. One thing, and this isn't effective of the story, I think if this had been in Treasury size, it would have been even better. Bigger format of it. So,
well, I know the copy of this I see for sale at STL Comics is a bigger, I wouldn't say Treasury size, but it's a bigger hardcover trade.
Yeah.
So there's at least a bigger version you could get.
Yeah, I think bigger is definitely better in this case because you could notice so many other little specifics that Perez put in the artwork.
If you watched last week's episode, one thing I was just thinking about, these issues are bigger than DC versus Marvel. And I feel like the story's a little bit more complicated. And I think in these 4 issues, they spent less time dwelling on the why this is happening and actually showing you the characters.
Yeah.
Like, by far superior to Marvel versus DC in that regards. So, I mean, I like
the fact that both universes' characters went through like the time motion of every way that they've kind of been depicted. I didn't necessarily understand why that happened, but I thought it was cool to see all the different versions that we had or incarnations of teams.
Blue Superman and
Hippolyta Wonder Woman and Wasp and her array of different costumes, and Hank Pym's Giant Man and Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man, and
my buddy Retrotigo always mentions that 90s Thor, and he was standing right next to Blue Superman.
Yeah.
So what would you rate it? What would you give?
I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on this one.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
I'm a swing big. Like, I really feel like this is a 5 out of 5 territory.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's pretty big, saying this is the kind of story I don't like, with a lot of jumping around. But like I said, just as a DC fan, I could only imagine if I knew as much about Marvel, it'd probably make you love it even more. But it's just so cool to see all that, a really good story. And even coming right off of Marvel versus DC, it's so well done. It really is. It's really well written. And it's written in a way to give the fans what they want. So 5 out of 5.
I know that I have read recently, in light of George Perez's health news, that some fans were calling for the petition of Marvel and DC to come together and reprint this again and give a portion, if not all of the proceeds, to the Perez estate for everything that he did for both of those companies. I don't know if that will happen or not, but it certainly sounds like a great idea to me.
Well, the skeptic in me wants to say immediately no, but D, Disney and Sony came to terms to use Spider-Man in movies, so it's anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
So,
If anyone deserves it, he does. So
yeah, that would be great.
yeah,
And this thing would sell too. It'd make them some money. There
yeah,
ain't a lot that I think either one could put out. They would know as immediate money, and this
yeah.
would be. So, all right, we're coming up on just past an hour. So, real quick before we go, I do want to shout out that next week this show will be on Magic Lasso's channel. It is the Valentine's special. Links to all of our members are in the description, so make sure you sub and hit the bell if you love this show, and also to check out all these great content these guys put out. We have 4 great channels here. And before we go, we like to shout out our channel, stuff we may have coming up or have already did, and do a book show. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Ryan.
Okay.
What you got going on?
So on my channel this past week, I did a video, and the title is not clickbait. I bought this back issue, and I couldn't sleep after I bought it because I was so excited over getting this. And I finally showed this book, and I can't believe this book wasn't in my collection before. I had never read it before. Most of the art was brand new to me. And if you want to find out what that book is, that video is already up on my channel. We also had a new edition of
I thought it was going to be your book show.
Also have a new edition of Cover By, which features a Shazam comic book cover. That was picked out by a great community member, Bronze Age Brian. So, and he makes a little guest appearance in this week's Cover By, so that's pretty awesome. On my channel tomorrow, we'll have the back issue of the week as a YouTube short. On Tuesday, I will do a video that will be primarily made up of a half-price books haul. Got some Marvel and some DC in there for you to enjoy. So just search Magic Lasso and sub up my channel if you haven't already. I'll sub you back too, and I'll give you a shout out in a future video, and appreciate all the support. And for my book show, I decided not to do a book, but this is something I'm going to give you a little preview, because I showed this in my video on Tuesday, but I'm going to show you ahead of time right now because I just love it so much. I went to Target and I found the Migo Justice League Gal Gadot Wonder Woman action figure.
Oh, cool.
This is a 8-inch figure.
I saw they were doing some DC ones, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Target also had the Henry Cavill Superman Migo version too. So if you're looking for those, Target's the place to look. So as I said, I'll talk a little bit more about this in my video coming up on Tuesday, but I know that you and Fu just recently did an action figure show, and I thought this might be a fun one to show today.
Definitely. What's up, Shannon? I saw your comment, no problem.
Thank you.
Glad you came by. On my channel, I did another Journey into Legends. I hope to get another one out this week. May not, because I have some extra work days. I also did an AOK unboxing I wasn't expecting, which is the book show. Very cool. Yeah. This is one of the books he sent me that I really...
Make yourself big.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. He sent me a few books, and at the time I didn't realize. He sent me 2 books that finished the Donna Troy mini. He sent me an awesome Brave and the Bold with Ra's al Ghul, and this Justice League 172, which fits right in.
Who is he? You said he sent me these books. Who is this he you're talking about?
Sorry, Ryan sent me. Sorry. Yeah, so definitely surprised me.
Do you remember what I told you about that cover too?
Yeah, that Wonder Woman's on the cover, but not in the comic.
She is total clickbait. Young Magic Lasso bought that issue in a Whitman 3-pack or whatever, and was so excited because Wonder Woman was on the cover, and she was nowhere in the story.
They do a little bit of that. They'll show you characters that aren't always there, or maybe are just standing in the background. You know what I mean? They don't actually go on the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for me. I got a few videos out this week, and like I said, I hope to get one out. If not, I will be on Fanboys on Magic Lasso's channel.
Yep.
So
because next Sunday there's nothing on TV, right?
Yeah. There's nothing worth watching.
Yeah, nothing worth watching.
You're speaking to the guy in St. Louis, so the Rams screwed us and left. I don't care about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean the Judds aren't on the halftime show, so why watch?
Exactly. It's like Eminem. Like,
Yeah,
no
the
offense
only
to
M and
him,
M's that I
20
want,
years too late.
the only M&Ms I want next Sunday have peanuts in them.
Exactly. Well, to everyone that came by, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Everyone that
you.
watches on replay, because I know these shows get great replay. Thank you for
Mhm.
watching. We always appreciate it, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments if you weren't able to make it live. Give us suggestions and all that. We listen. In fact, these last two shows were comment suggested. So,
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
with that, we will see you all next week.
Bye.